Hey, welcome back everybody. My name is Agent Psycho and we're going to get started on the NX standard variant review of the M416 family of assault rifles and combat arms called the M416 CQB. This is one of the most popular NX standard variant weapons, not just variants but weapons in combat arms. The entirety of combat arms. This is one of the most popular ones out there because of its what the hell was that? With its very okay, seriously, something on my computer is like making like weird photo noises. But anyways, ignoring that, yeah, what I meant to say was, before I got interrupted, was that the M416 CQB is very popular due to its very good combination of statistics and most notably, it's extremely low recoil, and this gun is still very well known for its very low recoil. But back in the day, when in the first few years of first half of combat arms' lifespan, the M416 CQB was literally the lowest recoil assault rifle in the entire game. It was that low. You could literally snipe people across Snow Valley with it when I first bought the M416 CQB when it was first released, and yeah, it was quite something. It's been nerfed since then in terms of its recoil, but we'll get into that when we actually talk about the recoil. So let's get started on this review. So a little bit of background information. There really is nothing to talk about there because, I mean, it's NX, so you can pick up NX whenever you want. You don't really need to care about your rank, and you can pick up the NX M416 CQB whenever you want. The M416 CQB with the G36E Valkyrie are two of the only NX standard assault rifles that you can currently buy for permanent whenever you want. So yeah, it's kind of Nexon's nod to the fact that they understand that the M416 CQB is one of the most popular NX standard assault rifles in the game, so they didn't want to take out the permanent duration option for it, and they just kept it in because they recognize that it's just so popular and so good. So yeah, let's get right into the statistics on the M416 CQB. The M416 CQB deals, like I mentioned in the M416 camo review, a 39 damage. It deals 1 point higher damage than the original M416. While 1 point of damage isn't necessarily the greatest improvement in terms of buffs, you can still kind of feel it whenever you use the M416 CQB, not in its close quarters combat, because in terms of close quarters combat, the M416 CQB and the M416 roughly perform about the same, in my honest opinion. However, you'll start to notice the 1 point buff in its damage when you go to distance engagements. The M416 CQB has a better damage drop-off profile and a better just overall range and damage, like damage consistency rating than the M416, in my honest opinion. I can't really prove it to you because, I mean, I wish I could bring up like charts that show and prove like, oh, the M416 CQB does indeed have like a better damage drop-off rating than the M416. I don't really have anything that I can do to prove this, which means that this is all entirely just purely subjective. But I definitely do think that the M416 CQB does have a better damage over range capability over the original M416. That's why I think Nexon gave it a 39 damage instead of keeping the original M416's 38 damage. So if you want to try it out or test it out, then go ahead, be my guest, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Moving on to the portability. Portability on the M416 CQB is also one of the greatest assets that the M416 CQB can offer. Its portability is a very, very high 66, and while this may not be the most portable for weapons in general, it is extremely high for assault rifles. The only other, or the closest competitor that we've seen so far is the I want to say the ACR and the M416. I think those are the only weapons or the only other assault rifles that we've covered thus far that come close to it. Well, in terms of like GP standard, not like the overpowered Roccos, but it's not really overpowered. But anyways, but yeah, up till this point, excluding like the epic weapons that we've seen so far and some of the shotguns and some of the submachine guns, or mostly submachine guns, I should say. The NX standard variant of the M416, the M416 CQB, is one of the highest portability, or it's the guns with one of the highest portabilities in the entire game in terms of assault rifle. So it is very, very fast. You will have absolutely no trouble getting around the map very quickly with when you have the M416 CQB out. In fact, it is so fast that oftentimes you don't even need to take out your pistol or your knife to get around the map. You can always have this up at all times, and you probably won't even need to worry about your speed too much. The rate of fire is consistent from the M416 at 74, so it does have a very high DPS time indeed, 39 damage, and a very high rate of fire at 74. Once again, 74 is pretty much a magic number of sorts amongst rates of fire of assault rifles. 74 is pretty much top tier for assault rifles and combat arms in terms of rate of fire, so it's right for the M416 CQB, it's pretty much straddling the top of the line here. Its accuracy has not changed from the M416 at 80 accuracy, though, because I've mentioned at various times that the accuracy is kind of like a mistake on Nexon's part, that its accuracy should be a lot higher than 80, because there's no way in hell the accuracy on is that low. I mean, for God's sake, the AC, well, I shouldn't say the AC, just single out the ACR, but for God's sake, the L85A1 mod has an 85 recoil, and or not recoil, what am I saying? Accuracy, and I honestly think that the M416 has a better accuracy than that, but it may be because the L85A1 mod has the weird SUSAT sight, so it kind of makes it kind of hard to aim, but I'll get to that later once that review comes up, or once that family of reviews comes up. But anyways, the accuracy is very good on the M416 CQB, and just saying that it has an 80 accuracy just isn't doing it enough justice. The recoil on the M416 CQB is the same on the CQB as it is on the M416 at 63. Now, I believe the M4A1, like I mentioned before, has a 62 or 60 recoil. I forget which exactly, but the M4A1 had a very low recoil. However, I don't really think it's doing the M416 CQB justice by saying that it has a 63 recoil. I mean, compared to the M4A1, the M4A1 by far, in my opinion anyway, has the lowest recoil kickback amongst any M4 variant in the Combat Arms the Combat Arms M4 family, and that includes M4A1, the M6A2, the Rec 7, because that's technically called the M468 in real life. The M416 CQB is pretty much next in line in terms of how low the recoil can get on the M4 family. The recoil is extremely low on the M416 CQB, so low in fact that you could very well just spray at medium range and you should be fine. However, because it's assault rifle, it's obviously got its limits in terms of recoil at middle range, but I mean, what can you do? The M416 CQB's recoil is still very, very low. So let's get on with let's talk about the individual aspects of the recoil on the M416 CQB, starting with the recoil spread. The recoil spread is pretty similar to the M416s actually in terms of hipfire, but it spreads out a little bit more slowly than the M416, so that's where it has a little bit of advantage over the M416 in my opinion anyway. It might not be the case, but that's just what I feel. In terms of Recoil Kickback is pretty similar to the M416, the original one. But it might be a little bit lower, but I'm not too sure because there's not really any way you can test that out. But let's talk about what the in-scope recoil is. As you guys probably know by now, the M416 CQB has a forced E.T.A, an integrated E.T.A scope, so you can't really attach like an ACOG on it if you wanted to. I really wanted to, but I mean, I'm never gonna have a chance to do so. But anyways, okay, sidetracked. The in-scope recoil so let's go dive into the M416 CQB's history a little bit. Back in the day when the M416 CQB was first released into the Combat Arms and Black Market Arsenal, I remember buying it for like a week or so, and it was a freaking laser gun. It was almost comparable to how the ACR performed in Modern Warfare 2. It was super accurate. It was super low recoil. You could go full auto with that thing, aiming down the E.T.A sight, and all it would do when you just held down the left click to just spray full auto, all it would do was just bounce straight up and it would stop. Like, that's literally how it performed. That's literally how it behaved back in the day before Nexon kind of took it and kind of nerfed it a little bit in terms of its recoil patterns and whatnot. Now, these days, it does kind of stay pretty vertical. It does have a very vertical recoil for the first like 4, 5, 6 shots, but it starts wobbling around side to side after that. But that wasn't the case. That it used to be like a very low recoil gun. Like you could predict it perfectly every single time. There were very rare instances where the M416 CQB back in the day had a different recoil pattern than straight up and down. So you like literally you had to like walk around, you had to like run around while you were standing. Like you could stand still or you could crouch down and aim down inside and go full auto, and it will just go straight up and just stay there. Once it hits its maximum recoil kickback. But now it's obviously a little bit different. So Tapfire ability, Tapfire is recommended with the M416 CQB, and don't worry, the Tapfire ability on the M416 CQB is indeed still there. It's just a little bit more difficult in my opinion because of its E.T.A scope or the E.T.A sight. But it shouldn't be a problem for you guys, or for those of you guys anyway who know how to Tapfire. So yeah, overall the recoil controllability is extremely easy on the M416 CQB. Part of the reason for that is because of the fact that the center speed on the M416 CQB is very fast indeed. Not the fastest, but it is indeed pretty fast. It's on the fastest spectrum. It's on the faster side of the center speed spectrum for assault rifles and combat arms. So that's the reason why. Tapfire ability, we already mentioned that. It is very easy to tapfire with the M416 CQB. It might be a necessity as well at long-range engagements because obviously the M416 CQB's recoil kickback is not the same as it used to be for those of you guys who are 2K8 veterans or 2K9 veterans. So, yeah. Moving on to the sprint drawback, because the M416 CQB is specifically meant for close quarters combat. I mean, just in its name, CQB, it stands for close quarters battle. So, or something along the lines of that. I don't really know for sure, but it's specifically designed and built for close quarters engagements. So the sprint drawback is extremely fast on, well, I shouldn't say extremely fast, but it is definitely pretty fast for an assault rifle. So yeah, this gun is very much so geared towards close quarters engagements, even though surprisingly enough it can out-snipe the snipers at long range. So with that said, moving on to the draw speed. The draw speed is nothing too special either. It takes the same amount of time to take out your M416 CQB as it would to take out your M416, so nothing too special there. Its center speed, I already mentioned that before. Like I mentioned before, one of the reasons why the M416 CQB has such a easy recoil to master is because of the fact that it has a pretty fast center speed that makes your crosshairs go back to normal after you shot someone. So you can definitely take down multiple enemies in different time frames. So like in quick succession. So you'll have no trouble with that. Moving on to the reload speed. The reload speed is pretty comparable to the M416. I would have to say that it's a little bit faster, but not by too much. But definitely it's a little bit faster. Moving on to the, what's next here? I want to say the fire modes. The fire modes on the M416 CQB only come in one, and that's fully automatic only, so nothing special there. Luck, it has about the same luck as the M416, to be honest. I don't know. I get more headshots with the M416 than I do with the M416 CQB for some reason, but whatever. That's just me, I guess. Just me being weird. Ammo capacity, it has a standard ammo capacity at 30 rounds per magazine and 90 in reserve, so nothing special there. Moving on. Key physical characteristics. So the M416 CQB actually looks pretty different from the original M416. I mean, if you look at it closely, it retains the same the action, the trigger, the magazine mechanism, grip, and the buttstock of the M416. However, the barrel has been changed, the muzzle has slightly been changed, and it's got an integrated foregrip, which I guess would signify that it has less of a recoil, and also it has a forced E.T.A scope. So it takes the main gun parts of the M416 and just modifies it with some sort of barrel enhancer with an integrated foregrip and kind of like a muzzle breaker or something like that, and an integrated E.T.A sight. So there you have it. Let's see what's the next here. Moving on to the muzzle noise. The muzzle noise has also been changed because presumably it's got a different barrel on the M416 CQB, by I don't know. It sounds very scratchy. The M416 CQB does not sound very good at all, in my opinion. It sounds extremely scratchy, and I honestly think that the M416s is louder and it pierces. It's kind of more high pitched, but it definitely sounds better than the M416 CQBs. Like the M416 CQBs sounds I don't know. It sounds very scratchy. It's not very clear, and while it may not be as loud because in terms of like frequency, I don't know. It's just not pleasant to listen to. Like the M416 was loud and very clear and very it was very piercing. I like that. But the M416 CQBs is just really grating on my ears, and I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of shooting that thing for an extended amount of time, but I mean I gotta do what I gotta do. The M416 CQB's muzzle noise can be easily overlooked by its performance, so I guess I'll overlook that for now. Attachment options. The attachment options, the only ones that you can the only ones that you can put on the M416 CQB, I'm summing my words here because I talk too fast all the time, are the suppressors and the the magazine modifications. You cannot attach any other sight because it's got a forced E.T.A sight and you can't take it off. So too bad. I kind of want to take it off too, but I mean, what can I do? To be honest with you, I don't really see a need for a suppressor. I think it's stupid. I think it screws up the already good recoil that the M416 CQB has. So no suppressor, don't use it. And magazine modifications, I mean, it's always up to you. I always put an extended mag 1 on all my guns, so it's just a personal thing. But for you guys, it might be a little bit different. Moving on to the attachment for whether or not it's fire team worthy. Yeah, of course, most assault rifles are indeed worthy of bringing with you to a fire team, no matter what it is. Quarantine worthy. I would have to say it is much better than most other assault rifles just because of the fact that it has a much higher portability than the rest. You can definitely run around very fast with the M416 CQB, though it might not be the fastest thing to run around with. It is definitely one of the fastest things to run around with. So, I mean, honestly, I think you should bring a submachine gun. But if you don't have like an overpowered high portability submachine gun, then the M416 CQB might just be your next best option for you. So my frank personal opinion is that M416 CQB is definitely one of the most reliable. Arguably, it is the most noob-friendly assault rifle in the entire game, just because of its sheer tendency to have a very low recoil and a very good damage. Not the best, but indeed a very good damage and a very high portability and a very high rate of fire. It is definitely one of the most noob-friendly assault rifles in combat arms that the game has to offer. If you're just starting out combat arms and you kind of need a crutch, so to speak, to help you get used to the gun mechanics in the game, then I very well recommend you pick up some NX and buy the M416 CQB, and it'll really help you improve upon your skill with other guns in the game. And because the M416 CQB just kind of caters to, it just has like a perfect handicap. I don't really want to call it a handicap, but that's what I gotta call it, because I mean I have no other way of conveying what I want to say here about the M416 CQB. But my point is that the M416 CQB is like a very good stepping stone. There we go. I did find a better phrase. It is a very good stepping stone to using other weapons, because the M416 CQB is very tolerant. It's very forgiving in terms of recoil. So yes, the M416 CQB is indeed one of the best weapons in the game. Probably one of the best next to the G36E. I'm not too sure. Maybe they can have a little face-off with each other. But anyways, no one can deny that the M416 CQB is indeed a very easy weapon to use. So, yeah. And one quick thing of trivia that I want to share with you guys: if you do, like, say you were buying a few of those mystery and missed end cases, because the missed end cases do indeed hold M416 CQBs. If you do get them and from like your missed G case, or if you just buy them from the shop nowadays, it'll say M416 CQB like normal. However, if you bought the M416 CQB back in the days when it was first released for limited edition, for example, I bought my M416 CQB not for $25 or 25k NX, but I bought mine for 30k because Nexon really saw how popular it was, and they tried to milk a lot, like as much money as they could, by releasing a permanent variant of the M416 CQB for $30 instead of $25. And when I found out that afterwards I could just buy it for $25, I was like, fuck. But anyways, that's just my loss. But anyways, but in exchange for that, my M416 CQB has the LE tag on it, which stands for limited edition, which basically signifies the fact that it has, or I bought it during the time when it was during a limited time permanent purchase sale, or when it was on sale for like a week, and I picked that up like right away. And if you guys do have the M416 CQB LE, if you buy the M416 CQB straight from the shop, or you obtain it from like a mystery case, what will happen is that you can actually have two M416 CQBs technically. This trick, or I'm gonna call it a glitch because I'm pretty sure Nexon didn't intend for this to happen, but this glitch also works for any other weapon that was released for permanent purchase, like limited edition permanent purchase, where it has the LE tag at the end of the weapon denomination. And for example, like the LED 581 mod LE and this other weapons like that, you can actually hold two of the same weapons at the same time when you go into a game, and that's how you do it. You have the M416 CQB LE and the normal M416 CQB. The game, for some reason, considers them two different weapons, because normally if you try to get two weapons at the same, like, you know, if you try to buy two of the same weapons, all it'll do is, you know, extend the time on that particular weapon. But for the M416 CQB, or any weapon that has the LE designation, if you buy another copy of them that's not LE, then the game will consider them two different weapons. You can actually bring both of them into the same, or into the room, or to a lobby or game, whatever you want to call it, at the same time. So I don't know, it was kind of a neat thing that I learned a long time ago when I bought the M416 CQB LE, and I got like an M416 CQB, like just a normal one, from I don't know, a friend or something like that. And I did go around using both of them, and people kind of gave me weird looks, like, how do you have two M416 CQBs? But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. The M416 CQB is definitely one of the best assault rifles in the game. If you have not tried it, then I'm pretty sure you're missing out a lot. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and yeah, I'll see you guys later in the next reviews. ゆきしてってね。